All right. Well, we're here. Welcome, everyone. We're back for another episode of Death, Tax, and Sports Podcast. My name is Jeff Long. It's been a while, so I forgot what I normally say, but we're back, folks, with my fellow Johnson and Wells.
All you gotta say
Along,
is we're here. We're
we're
excited to talk
here.
some
We're back.
football.
We're
Let's
back.
do it. That's all you gotta say, baby.
Oh man, we've
Okay,
it's been.
hold on, because I can hear you, Ben, but I can't hear Jeff.
I don't
Oh,
know.
1 second, hold on.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that clip, but we're getting the
All
we're
right,
getting
we're
the
here,
webs
baby.
out.
We're here. We're happy to be here,
Yeah.
and we're happy to talk some football. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
we got a lot. We got a lot to talk about. I promise you, for the ones who are listening, we will get better at our flow. But it's been 4 months, so it's just like we're coming out of retirement here. So anyway, this is what shirt do you have on?
I got a Notre Dame shirt from the good old thrift store.
Okay, nice. um,
Man,
yeah. So
but I think Gary hopped off. He's coming back. But me and you, baby,
yeah, let's get this thing going.
we can
Yeah,
get
man.
it going
So
with some Indiana Miami football. Let's get it rolling.
yeah, bro. So let me just first say that this is a team that is found they say father time is undefeated. So in this instance, father time, I guess, is now you're sideways, Gary.
Hold on.
Um
There
there
we
we
go.
go. Gary
There we
Legend
go.
sideways and like
So,
doing the
Um,
Matrix.
Gary, we just started talking about Miami, Indiana. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Jeff.
So here's all I'm gonna say. It was super impressive what Miami did. Or no, what Indiana did. Okay. It's still not better than the undefeated LSU team because this that was before NIL and the super teams. So for me, when you have a team whose average age is 23 and like 23.8 years, I think the Carolina Panthers are like 23.5.
hmm
So
Yeah.
when you have Mendoza, who's 24 years old, it is impressive, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not as impressive as like the 14 and 0, 13 and 0, 14 and 0 teams of the past because you didn't have NIL and you didn't have a bunch of super seniors playing on a team. Not to take
Mm-hmm.
away from what they did, but I still think when you have people who are old enough to be my grandparents, I still think that needs to be pointed out. But that's all I'll say.
Yeah, and for clarity purposes, you were talking about the Burrow chase, and that
Yeah,
year
yeah.
that Burrow had, I believe, 70 touchdowns.
Yes, that was to me
70
the best college
touchdowns.
football team.
Like
That
that,
was probably the best college football team.
insanity. 70
Yeah.
Gotcha.
touchdowns. But for me personally, on last night's game, I know we'll get a little more into it, but in the most simplistic form, Indiana tackled. Miami didn't. Like the amount of missed tackles without looking at the stats, just by watching the game, all of us can understand Miami missed way more tackles than Indiana did. Indiana tackled way better, and just without stats and just like visually looking at the game, understanding football, that's a big difference when you're playing tackle football. I mean, that sounds silly and dumb, but like obviously, when you're playing tackle football, one team tackling a lot better than the other, that's probably going to sway it a little bit. So, in my most simplistic analysis, Indiana tackled much better. Gary, have at it.
I mean, no, you both kind of covered all the ground on this. Indiana played a cleaner game, for lack of a better term. But you do that when you have a bunch of veteran players that you're playing with. To your point, Jeff, yes, this is the age of NIL, and he who has the money, he has the power and all that. But we also have to look at this from a historical perspective. Indiana has never been known as a football school. In fact, their football team, I think the only school that's had a worse record in the Big Ten historically is Northwestern, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken. Like,
Gary,
they,
before
so
Signetti got there, they had the worst record of all Division One college football teams ever.
exactly.
The worst.
So for just in the name of parody and the name of seeing a new face beyond the blue, among the blue bloods that we usually see at this time of year, your LSU's, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, your Michigans, it was refreshing to see it's refreshing to see a new face at the top of the mountain, even if this is a success won't be sustained, long term or anything like that. like I said, 100 years of Indiana football, and you never even sniffed the surface of this between up until the last 2 years. And for Chuck Signetti, I know he's going to garner a lot of attention, but I think at this point he has to go the Dan Hurley route and just like be the guy. That's your castle. That's your kingdom. You've done something that
Mhm,
legitimately nobody ever could have said that would have happened.
mhm.
Indiana was good. We knew last year that they were going to be good, but we didn't know that they would run the table and be national champions. And that's even with the NIL, even with the players they ended up with, Fernando Mendoza, everybody like that.
Mhm.
Now the trick is, can this last? Because either they're going to take that next step and be in that conversation among the Big Ten, because also, fun fact, third straight year the Big Ten's won the national championship.
Yep.
Are they going to be in that same category and be in that group? Or is this a one-hit wonder? So I'm actually truly intrigued to see how this plays out going beyond 2026.
So with that, I don't think Signetti has to do anything else ever again. The fact that he led a team undefeated to Indiana, like he could not win another, never win another national title again. He brought a national title to Indiana University. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing if he was at like a blue blood, like a Penn State or Ohio State or LSU, right? Where like that is the expectation.
Right.
He's going to forever be a god there. But what I want to say is right, and then I'll throw it to you, Ben. Can we say that the SEC is the best conference in college football after we have seen three straight Big Ten national champions? But that doesn't mean that the SEC, pound for pound, lacks the talent. But it does start to say, okay, there's that big shift.
If you don't mind me just interjecting just real quick,
Go ahead, Gary.
I think what we're seeing is the money spreading out. A and B, kids are now realizing that they don't have to go down to the Georgias and the Alabamas and the Floridas and having to relocate there. With the right amount of resources allocated, you can have a champion in Bloomington, Indiana. You can have a champion in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or any of these other smaller towns or whatever. Like you can, it no longer is going to be, or at some point it may the tide may turn again, but the money's spreading. So we're no longer going to see everybody just going and flocking to the SEC like they used to. We're going to start to see a little bit of a tail off. And I think it's going to spread out nationwide. But I'm sorry, Ben, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I did want to say that it's acknowledged history was made. 16-0 as a college football team had never had. The last time it happened was almost 140 years ago, 1894 to be exact. So 16-0 national championship. That's a great accomplishment. I love personally. I didn't have a dog in the fight, so because I wasn't rooting for either team, I'm rooting for history. So I was happy with that. And this will be a theme, and I guess a little bit of a tease, but I'm going to continue as we go to the NFL. But coaching, some decisions to me are like, I don't know what you were doing. So specific to this game, Indiana's up by 3. Miami's used all their timeouts. The end of the game, it's 4th and 5. This is after you've gone for it in the fourth quarter twice on fourth down, and both times it worked out. One was that crazy touchdown with Mendoza. So you're up 3. There's less than 2 minutes left. 4th and 5. You have the Heisman winning quarterback. Trust him to get 5 yards, and after that, your victory formation, you're kneeling on the ball. Now, did it work out for them kicking the field goal? Did they get a defensive stop? Yes. Was I aided by a dumb throw by Beck? Yes. But I still think coaching, if you're going to go for it on fourth down, you went for it twice in the fourth quarter. You got it both times. You had one more opportunity to get 5 yards with the Heisman winning quarterback. And if you do it, it's victory formation, game's over. So I do think that was for me as a person, as a coach, whatever, stay consistent. You were aggressive the entire fourth quarter. You had one more chance to be aggressive. And I think the game would have been over because I believe they would have gotten the 5 yards. But did it work out? 100%. But
Yeah. And with that guy Tony for Miami. He's
Mhm.
only 18 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I think
Yeah.
he should be a senior in high school right now, right?
By the
And
way, that raises a point. The NFL, I'm sorry, I know I
go ahead.
interrupted you, but the NFL should not have the rule you need to be 20 years old, which is, I know it's not 20, but you have to be a junior. So by definition, you got to be at least 20 to make it to the NFL. If he was able to be drafted this year,
Yeah.
he would be drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
No doubt
Yeah.
about it.
I think that's going to change in the next CBA. Honestly, I see that changing pretty soon. I don't see that rule staying because Jeremiah Smith, for God's sakes,
Mhm.
he would be the number one overall pick. But the fact that he's got to wait a whole nother year at this point when he's got nothing left to prove, I think is ridiculous. If you're 18, you can go to war for this country. You're not getting political. I still think you should be able to
Yeah.
draft going to
Marvin
NFL.
Harrison, Marvin Harrison Jr. a couple years ago. Yeah, he's been as a pro concerning
Well,
where
he's
he's
playing for
drafted.
the
But
Cardinals.
a couple years ago, he would have been number one overall
Yeah,
pick.
but he's
So
playing for the Cardinals. I mean, it's the
yeah,
Cardinals, guys. I mean, come
yeah,
on.
exactly.
But Gary, just real quick, I want to throw you just a bone here before we get to McDermott firing. You had an awesome hiring. How are you feeling, Gary Legend, about your new coach? 100 million. Wow.
I mean, I think that's the only part of it that I'm like, oof. Like we're talking running back prices for a head coach, but you know, for the Giants, it's historic because it's the first time in franchise history that they've hired a coach who already has a championship in hand, which is a very which was an interesting stat to discover, but it's true. They've never had a coach that had previous championship experience, and granted, this previous experience was like 15 years ago, but he does have a ring. You can't take that from him. I think for the Giants, they needed a newer adult in the room. And that's not to say that Dayball wasn't an adult. I think he was fine for for what he was, but you need a well-rounded head coach, and that's exactly what John Harbaugh is. And I think I'm not saying that we're going to go from 4 wins to, we're not going to go from 4-13 to 13-4 like say Jacksonville did this past season, but I do finally feel like there's room for marked improvement between him. Give me a healthy Jackson Dart that doesn't take these crazy shots. Give me a healthy Malik Neighbors. Give me a healthy Cam Scatterboo. That's a team that can make noise in the NFC East and really in the NFC in general. I'm not calling Super Bowl. I'm not saying any of that, but I think we are finally taking a step in the right direction.
Hey, 100 million. 100 million, Ben. That's a lot of man.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Mhm.
of money. A
But to
lot of
these
money.
billionaire owners, because most of them are billionaire owners, unfortunately, that's like us $100.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just what it is.
Mhm.
It is a lot of money. I agree. And could they have gotten them for maybe 80 million? Probably so. But at the end of the day, if you want a guy similar to a coach or a player, sometimes you got to overpay. Or even if you don't have to overpay, you decide you're going to overpay because you want that one person.
Just
So,
one more point on this though. Shane's days are numbered because
I
they
think.
chain.
Mhm.
No, well, because I was reading Gary, and then we'll get to McDermott firing. I promise, Ben. But I was reading that the structure in the negotiations was that the owner, like he had to report to the owner, not to the GM. So I think Joe
Which was the
Shane.
case in Baltimore. So I'm not
Okay,
as surprised by that.
okay,
Um, but it worked in Baltimore because that was a well-oiled machine until things didn't work out for them. But that they had marked success for years. So if that's how the system works there, maybe it can work here. To your point, maybe Joe Shane's days are numbered, but he's going to at least get one more kick at the can. And if he really wants to keep this job, then he's going to do everything he can to play ball and to play nice with Harbaugh. Because otherwise, it's very clear that Harbaugh has the final say in all of it.
yeah, we'll see. At least Joe Shane's credibility is kind of, you know, went down a peg just a little bit. But anyway,
Mhm.
Benjamin Holloway, we have a Sean McDermott firing.
you going to
I
let me
think it
go
was the right
first?
move. Yeah, I'm throwing you the rock. I know we
I
gotta
know
get our chemistry back.
I was being a little smart guy. You know what I mean? I knew you
Yeah,
were.
yeah,
You
you know
know,
what I'm
being a little
saying over
smart with
here,
you. You
little
know.
donuts, huh? No, guy, go ahead. Talk about Sean McDermott, and then Gary. Do your Gary Legend things.
So I think that initially there was a little bit of a shock. I think not only for us, but probably the entire team, all the media, everyone on, those early morning shows, Get Up, First Take, all that. I think there was some shock initially, and your initial thought was like, really, was that the right move? Really? And then as time goes by, you get to think about it a little bit more, evaluate it, listen to other people, make your own conclusions. And it's like you had Josh Allen and you didn't make not only win a Super Bowl, you didn't make it to a Super Bowl, which by the way is also arguably one of the biggest reasons Harbaugh is not the Ravens coach anymore. Because when you have superstar quarterbacks, and it's not jumping any hoops there. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are superstar quarterbacks. They've won MVPs, and you have those guys. I don't care if there's Burrow, there's Mahomes, there's this, there's that. If you can't get to a Super Bowl, not even just get there like once with that amount of talent, I can, to an extent, understand the decision. I do think it was a little bit risky, probably a risk they felt worth taking. But Randy, thanks for joining and thanks for commenting. I was absolutely going to go there as well. Promoting Brandon Bean
Yeah,
made absolutely no sense whatsoever. By the way, if the reports are true, which there are a lot of reports that say this is true, that they were going to get Jalen Waddle at the trade deadline if they gave up a 2026 first round pick, but they said no, we're only giving up a 2027. And if that is true, which there are plenty of reports to speak to that validity, that just is also like really, really. Another, to the point that Brandon Bean gets promoted, you had a chance to get Jalen Waddle, and you were saying that you were, no, I'll give you a 27, not a 26. What the hell is the difference? You're going to be good in both years. What's the number draft pick going to be different? Probably not going to be much at all. The last point, I know I've talked for a while on this. The last thing I will say is, and we'll get to the game because we're going to cover the games and react to the games. But if Josh Allen makes that throw with 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter, they win with a touchdown pass to Knox, and McDermott is coaching this weekend. So,
For years, I've come on here and I've said with the Buffalo Bills, if not now, when? I've said that repeatedly.
mm-hmm.
At some like this was bound to happen. If they didn't hoist the Lombardi Trophy in the almost 5 years that we've been doing this, if they haven't hoisted the Lombardi Trophy by now, then no, McDermott had to go. Yes, is it a scapegoat move? Of course it is. But that's the name of the game when you're a professional coach. You're either the hero or you're the goat. You're the scapegoat in this case. And all that regular season success means nothing if come January you can't get your team over the hump. Now, yes, it's a 53-man roster, so it's not just on him. It's not just on Josh Allen, but you're the leader. And unfortunately, that meant that you had to go. And I think if the Giants could have waited a week or another week or so, maybe they reevaluate and go, let's look at this. Do we want McDermott? Do we want Harbaugh? I think Harbaugh is still the better choice ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I do think McDermott will probably take a year off before he jumps into anything else. But sooner or later, that team, that nucleus, is going to have to be blown up if they can't get over the hump. And I know you hear yes, we heard the rumor about Jalen Waddle at the trade deadline. I also heard something earlier today about possibly them getting AJ Brown, since AJ Brown wants to leave Philly so badly. These moves are all great moves, but will they equate to a trip to the Super Bowl? Never mind just hoisting the damn trophy. Can you get
Mhm.
to the big game at the end? And now you're gonna have to look to somebody else. And if you're Buffalo, I'm like, really, yes, you have a lot of these candidates that have been fired. It's like, do you want to bring them in? They were fired from their last job because because of record or whatever the case may be. The picks of the litter thus far: Harbaugh gone, Stefanski gone. Mike Tomlin is not coaching in 2026. You don't know if Sean McDermott. I say it's probably less likely that he coaches in 2026. Who are you going to bring in that's going to help push Josh Allen over the hump? Because otherwise, it's just Jim Kelly 2.0 at this point.
I will say, McDermott. There's still the Browns job available. I think he'd be great there. Um, well, Miami's taken. Uh, Zach Taylor
McDermott's
still.
a, McDermott's a perfect fit for the Ravens.
Oh, easily. But I just don't see that one happening.
But at the
Um,
same time, you just had a superstar quarterback. Now
yeah.
we're going to give you another superstar
Zach Taylor
quarterback.
still has a job, folks. It doesn't make any. This doesn't. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It makes no sense
No
to me.
sense. None.
Andy
None.
Dalton was in Cincinnati for like 46 years. They like to hold on to old treads and just keep
Yeah, I
going
just don't.
until the whole thing falls apart and they're 3-13 or 3-14 now.
I
Yeah,
love
That's
you, Gary.
Cincinnati.
I love you, Gary. Said
It's
Andy
a
Dalton
it's a
was there for
cycle.
4 to 6 years.
It's a cycle. They have moments of being really good,
yeah. It's just
and can they get to the next level, and then they don't, and then they tail off. Something happened. Like, it's a vicious cycle with them, and we lived the Andy Dalton, Marvin Lewis era that produced absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But Cincinnati likes to hold on to continued success or mediocrity, one or the other.
yeah.
Well,
It
there's
just
also
doesn't.
something. Sorry, Jeff. One thing I would say is there's also something to the Bengals owner being like the cheapest in the entire league, and
That
because of
part.
that, he doesn't want to pay a contract to a coach that still he owes money to.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. But even the McDermott firing, I mean, I was listening on what's it called on the sports radio show that's on ESPN. It's Chris Canty and
Unsportsmanlike. There you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
unsportsmanlike. I actually really like listening to their show in the morning. It's a nice one.
it
Um,
is.
they said that no coach has ever made it past 7 seasons without at least making it to a Super Bowl, just a visit in the Super Bowl, a visit,
Yeah.
right? So to me, it's like for the Bills, whoever they hire, it's a win now coach because Josh
Mm-hmm.
Allen is not getting any younger. He's going to be 30. And the thing that is like super infuriating if you're Bills fans, it's like you had control of the division for years. Not
Mm-hmm.
only did you lose the division, but your rival has a young quarterback named Drake May who's not going anywhere and is going to lose to Denver, of course, to Jarrett Stidham. But still, besides that point, though, they're going to get demolished on Sunday. You can't wait. I'm telling you, Jarrett. I'm telling you, Stidham is going to drop dimes. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gary. I feel like you got something to say.
You had no Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes. This was as clear of a path to the Super Bowl as you were ever going to get, and you didn't get there. Somebody had to go. Sorry, like it's if you're not getting rid of the quarterback, you got to get rid of the coach. It's somebody had to be the fall guy in this case. Now, promoting Brandon Bean, that looks a little funny, but
Makes no sense.
but
That
if
makes no
he
sense.
help, but if he produces and they at least get to a conference championship, gets to a Super Bowl in this next season, then we'll all keep quiet about it. But if it's more of the same or they don't make the playoffs at all, then Bean will be on the first train out of Buffalo,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
So but let's keep this train moving because we could talk coach and fire ends all day. I mean, it's just going to be crazy. All I'm going to say, Robert Salah in Tennessee. I don't know. Ben, you and I will have different thoughts on that. We will debate that another day. So these two divisional AFC round games. Um, okay, CJ Stroud. Okay, WTF? And I'm a huge fan of his, but boy, David Mills should have played that second half. He should have played. I
without
think they probably could have won that
layoff.
game. They probably would have won that game if David, because at that point he was already playing pretty terrible against the Steelers,
And
and
they were
I don't
still
know.
close.
Yeah, like that game could have won. I would have put Davis Mills in, and I would have ran with him for the rest of the playoffs because that game was very winnable. And you win that game, you're playing against Denver. I lie, you're probably going to lose 30-0 against Jared Stidham, but still, you have a chance to go. Um, Someone take it away because we could talk about that game forever. Well, before we get to the Broncos one, y'all's thoughts on CJ turnover Stroud.
Yeah, I there's absolutely no way Stroud starts the second half if I'm the coach. It's not about how much money we're going to pay you because he is going to get an extension at some point, whether it's now or next year. It's not about the future. It's literally about right now. You're basically playing for the Patriots. Like you basically have a Patriots uniform on. You had four interceptions.
Yeah.
You had 4 interceptions in the first half. 3 of them were absolutely horrible decisions by you, like completely preventable, just horrible decisions by a quarterback. A fumble in the first half, which I think he got back, but he basically helped the Patriots more than he helped the Texans. And to me, if I'm the head coach and I know this is a playoff game and I want to win, right now, Stroud is absolutely not giving my team the best chance to win. And because of that, it's a simple decision. I don't care how much he's getting paid and Davis Mills getting paid, future this, future that, what the contracts are. Right now, I'm trying to win this game right now. And right now, CJ Stroud, I'm sorry, you're helping the other team more than you're helping our team. So 100% he gets benched at halftime for Davis Mills with all of Stroud's turnovers. This also makes the point about how great the Texans defense is. It was 21-16 in the fourth quarter.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
So imagine if you had a quarterback that basically wasn't giving the other team the ball, not even playing great quarterback play, but just like literally not giving the other team the ball. Texans are playing this weekend.
And Ben, you hit the nail on the head before. They played like horseshit against the Steelers. CJ Stroud played terribly against the Steelers and benefited off the fact that the Steelers decided to play horribly as well. I said to you guys in the chat during the game, I'm like, eventually a decent team's going to capitalize on these mistakes. Eventually, you keep giving the other team the ball, they're gonna score. Like, just the odds kind of work in that favor, and that's exactly what happened. For CJ Stroud, Jeff, I know you may not want to hear this, but this is yet another quarterback from Ohio State that's not really panned out well in the NFL. There really hasn't been a huge track record of that now. So, I mean, he might do well during the regular season, but this is listen. There's a history.
No,
You
you're
have
right though. No, you're right.
there,
Troy
there,
Smith,
there's a
Dwayne
huge
Haskins.
history of Ohio State quarterbacks doing great in college and not making it in the NFL. And while
Oh, it is.
CJ Stroud reaps the benefit at least up until this point of playing in a lesser division, but now you've got Jacksonville who's going to be better. You're going to assume that Tennessee won't be this continued ass of a team going forward. And the Colts, I mean, up until a popped Achilles, they were looking like the belle of the ball. So I look at all this and go, Houston, you got to figure this out, or pardon the pun, you will indeed have a problem, and that's what we saw in the playoffs, and that's what we saw with C.J. Stroud. Speaking of the Patriots, again, like I said, they were going to eventually capitalize on Houston's mistakes, and that's exactly what a good team does. Straight up
Yeah,
and down.
I mean, CJ Stroud is probably the more successful. Because it's tough because this year was kind of like a mix of was a bag of mixed goods because Davis Mills when he was in a couple like a 2 or 3 game stretch.
Stroud missed, which is also, by the way, part of the reason I would have put Davis Mills in the second half. Stroud missed 3 games, and I don't care who the opponents were. Davis Mills went 3-0.
He balled out, and he carried
3-0.
the season. Like if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't have even made the playoffs. Like he
That's
should
true.
he should get a job somewhere. Him and Mac Jones should be 2 quarterbacks that if you're not going to draft a quarterback this year, you better pick up the phone and say, "Hey, come in. We want you to start." If I'm the Steelers, I call Davis
Jets.
Mills or I call Mac Jones. Um,
Yep.
I don't know, but CJ Stroud.
Jets.
I'm sorry.
Jets.
Jets. There you go. Is your arm okay? What's that on your hand, by the way? Is that like I thought it was blue, but never mind.
This
Anyway,
thing here,
I'm
this
sorry.
purple and
I'm
gold.
sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's
This
okay.
thing, this thing
It's
in purple
okay.
and gold
You
here.
know.
Like that.
I'm just
Okay.
saying, it's okay. It's okay,
Okay.
Neo. It's okay, Neo. You're still. It's okay. Anyway, um, no. So let's get to this Broncos game. Okay. Let me just first say, I was at my niece's birthday. Okay, that game is on, and I'm just like, oh, look at that dog. He's excited too. Damn it, man. You're coming from a high. You're like Josh Allen. I said, whoever won this game is going to win the Super Bowl. That's how I generally felt. And I was like, there's no way we're gonna beat this team, man, because they were running all up on our defense. But
Yep.
damn it, the Bo Nix injury. Yeah, wow. I still think we're going to be fine and we're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm still calling it. But the game itself, the Bills had every chance to win, and Josh Allen was the reason why they lost this game with those turnovers. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, 100%.
That covers it.
Yeah, and the thing is, we'll go into coaching because it is a common theme here. But I
Yeah.
will say, like, Josh Allen makes that throw to Dawson Knox. There's about 11 seconds left, and the Broncos are down by 4 points. That's a touchdown. I'm sorry, if that's Burrow, that's Mahomes. They've both proven in the playoffs they are not missing that throw. I'm sorry, Josh Allen. Like you're a superstar quarterback. You're an MVP. You cannot miss that throw. If he makes that throw, which is crazy, if he makes that throw, there's no overtime. So Bo Nix never gets hurt. There's no that Brandon Cooks, that this cornerback. Is it a catch? Is it an interception? That happened in the overtime. Bo Nix broken ankle happened in the overtime. So if Josh Allen makes that throw, Bills are playing this weekend. That controversy never happens, and Bo Nix is healthy. It's just crazy how all that, works out. But in reality, that's what happened because all those things happen in overtime. If Josh Allen makes that throw to Dawson Knox, none of those things happen. Bills are playing this weekend.
Thanks.
Go
Gary?
ahead, Gary.
No, again, kind of laid everything out there. Like you never know what the butterfly effect of something like that can really truly be. And as we said before, with Buffalo, this was the game that they had to win if they were going to be. If they were going to do anything, this was the team to beat. They knew that they had to get past they had to get past Jacksonville. They had to get past all these teams that we all said, okay, this is their clear path. This was their path to get to Santa Clara, to get to the Super Bowl. And, listen, Bo Nix and Denver, they're very good. They wouldn't be the one seed if they weren't. But I'm saying that Buffalo probably was one of the best 6 seeds that you'll ever see in the postseason. And this just wasn't. It not even wasn't their time. It just didn't. Things did not work out for them, and it's unfortunate on the Denver side that Bo Nix won't be able to participate anymore this postseason because now you'll never know exactly. I know you're saying they'll be fine, but not every team has Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler. Not every team has Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Jared Stidham, baby. I mean, what do you want me to do?
If
Like, you
Jared
want me to say,
Stidham, no,
look,
I'm not. Listen, you have as a Broncos fan, you should have complete faith in your starting quarterback that he can get you guys to the Super Bowl. Do I trust him over Drake May? No. But I'm not saying that I don't trust that defense. I trust that defense. He's got good weapons around him, but you're going to have to. It sounds cliche and very straightforward, but you're going to have to outscore New England, who has shown you that they know how to score several different ways. So this is going to be quite the matchup and quite the test for them.
Gary, lead the talk on Rams versus Bears. We haven't had you go first, so let's have you go first on the game. Rams versus Bears. Floor is yours.
Death, taxes, and breaking Chicago's hearts in the playoffs. It's just it's all it's the same things year in and year out. It's the double doink. It's all these different things that happen. But I will say this, Chicago, you finally got yourselves a quarterback. Congratulations. Because if nothing else, you learned that this postseason, towards the end of this regular season and postseason, that
Mhm.
throw to tie the game to Komet will go down as one of the great all-time postseason throws ever. Period. Like that's
Absolutely.
your season is legitimately on the line, and you throw an absolute just it wasn't even a dime, but it floated in the air magically to
Gary,
close.
what's crazy about that play is it started at the 14-yard line. He
Right,
threw it from the 40. He literally went 26 yards
the opposite
backwards. And
direction.
why did he do that? Because he had like 4 guys in his face. So he kept going back, back, back. And then he just tosses it, and it's like it went
It
directly
went
to the
past
net.
all the defenses. It
It
was a
went
lot.
exactly where it was supposed to go. Incredible based upon the athleticism and just the ability to make that throw into the doesn't matter necessarily how it looked in the air. It went to the exact spot that it was supposed to go.
It landed where it needed to land.
Yeah. Incredible throw.
So yeah, I will boost up Chicago on that side of it. Like they're going to get everybody's best shot going forward because now they're no longer the secret. They're no longer the fluke team. They're going to be good, and they're going to be somebody that you're going to have to deal with in the NFC North for at least the next couple of years. On the flip side of that, to the Rams, we've been saying that they've been like this low key good team all season long. So they were going to have to win one of these type of games in the elements. And it wasn't an ugly game, but it was very much a cold, gritty, wintry game that these boys from Southern California probably shouldn't have won, but they did. Puka Nakua, that that's it by itself. Just Puka Nakua. He's a problem. Their running game problems. Like they're gonna give Seattle a run for their money in the conference championship for sure.
So, real quick, you pretty much summed up everything. I feel like Caleb Williams is like a black Brett Favre, like just pure
Yeah.
arm talent and a
Yeah.
gunslinger. Okay, like when I see Caleb Williams, I see Brett Favre, but just black. Like that is a type of throw that Brett Favre would make. There are just certain quarterbacks that have a arm talent that is just absolutely just undeniable. I want to throw you guys this question. I'm not even going to break down that game because I think Gary Legend did what Gary Legend does. It gives legendary commentator. That is why he is Gary freaking Legend. Everybody, Gary Legend. One more time. Anyway, last year, at the end of the first year, I think we both can say that we would rather have had Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
after this year, who would you rather
Mhm.
have? Caleb
Yeah.
Williams or Jaden Daniels after year 2?
It's a good one. Can I comment on the game and then answer the
Yeah.
question?
Yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. Free country.
Wait, hold on, Ben. Let me answer the question then. Just
Yeah,
because
Gary, you answer the question. Go for it.
it's a push.
Really?
Because if you give me a healthy Jaden Daniels versus a
Mhm.
healthy Caleb Williams, that's an even battle. That it is. It's an even battle. I would love to see that. I couldn't pick one or the other. So
Okay.
that's my
Okay.
answer to the push.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
here's hoping that they both are healthy for years to come, and that turns into like Mahomes Burrow of the NFC. It could turn into that. So that's again. I say with Gary, that's a hard thing. But just quickly on the Rams Bears game, 2 coaching decisions. One, the Rams 3rd and 10, end of the game. Chicago used all their timeouts. You have Stafford, who's either the MVP or going to be second place MVP. Chicago has no timeouts left. If he makes a first down, throws it to Nakua or any of those trio of tight ends, which they have 3 pretty good tight ends, Nakua, Devontae, makes a pass, gets 10 yards, they go in victory formation, game over. Trusts his defense, didn't work out for him because the Bears forced overtime. In the overtime, the interception that Caleb Williams threw, I'm going to put partially on the quarterback, partially on the wide receiver DJ Moore, but also you were 10 yards away from winning the game and you had gotten 20, 25 yards by calling offense a certain way, you absolutely did not need to take any deep shots. That you shouldn't have called any route. None of the receivers should have been running routes that were 20 yards downfield. That's not how you were 10 yards away from possibly kicking a game-winning field goal and playing this weekend, and you had moved the ball by doing these short slant routes, Caleb Williams running out. Like, you had gotten 3 or 4 first downs in the overtime, close to kicking a field goal, calling plays a certain way. And then you're just like, yeah, that's working. That's going great, but we're just going to try something else. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. None.
Yeah. No, it's definitely infuriating. Because Caleb Williams is prone for a mistake, and you know that it was bound to happen. But so let's kind of do quick round robin here before we go to the next topic. I don't have the notes in front of me here, Ben. So
sorry, not Rams. 49ers, Seattle, that game is
I'm sorry. Okay.
That game's not worth talking about. It's 41
Okay,
to 6.
all I'm gonna say is
just
real quick. All I'm gonna say is that y'all, I've been to that stadium probably 5 or 6 times. Let me tell you, that is one of the best stadiums. That is probably one of the top 3 stadiums in the country. Y'all know I've been to probably about 80% of these football stadiums, and I'm gonna tell you, that one is. I can only imagine how loud it was. You have to wear earplugs. But what I'm not going to say is I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Seattle is this juggernaut. I think that game was because San Francisco's injuries caught up to them.
Yep.
And I'm not believing that Sam Darnold all of a sudden is Joe Montana. And 3, they played at home, and that kickoff return just took all the life out of San Francisco. That's all I'm going to say. Seattle's not the juggernaut, and I think the Rams are going to beat Seattle next week. I'm just saying.
I got nothing on that game because it was such a blowout, but I am going to talk about Darnold and all that fun stuff when we get to the championship games.
Okay.
But nothing on that game itself.
Okay, so preview AFC Championship game. I mean, do we really need to talk about this? We already know what the score is going to be. It's going to be.
Yes, we do need to talk about it. We're doing a podcast.
Okay.
We do need to talk about it.
Okay. Gary, you know what? You go first, Gary. You go first. I'm going to wait.
Okay.
Be nice.
If you'd have told me that the matchup would have been with Bo Nix versus Drake May, I would say this is like a 24-21 overtime victory or something like that. And to answer the question, that would have been for the Broncos, not for the Patriots.
Okay. Careful what you're about to say.
No, because I'm like, I want to believe in Denver. I do. But I don't know how you overcome that injury that late. It's not like 10 years ago when it was very clear that you had a lesser than Peyton Manning and you were buoyed by your defense.
Mm-hmm.
This year was very much an offensive-based year based on the wins and how they've won and how Bo Nix has produced. I don't know if you can withstand an emotional blow like that at this stage in a game of this magnitude. I will be pleasantly surprised if they do win, and I'm not saying that I'm rooting against Denver. I'm just going with logic and going with like New England's team is at full strength. Denver's isn't. And for that reason and that reason only is the only reason why I'm going with the Patriots winning.
I'm going to give pushback, okay? Only reason why I'm believing Jarrett Stidham, okay? He has been in this offense for 3 years, okay? That makes a difference, okay? I know it's preseason, okay? But he had a better preseason than Bo Nix, okay? He did. And a lot of Bo Nix's games during the regular season were kind of suspect, and we won a lot of those games, except for the Giants game, on pure defense. And J.K. Dobbins, the practice window has opened up, so he may be able to play. So I think that's another weapon. So if there's any person that is more equipped to prepare a guy, it is Sean Payton. I obviously we're not going to be the same, right? But if you tell me whose defense I'd much rather go against, I'd much rather go against the Patriots defense than Houston's defense. Okay. So I'm gonna say Denver because I'm gonna say it is gonna be 17. No, we'll get 20. We'll get, you know what? We'll do 20. No, we'll do 24. We're gonna do 24-18 Broncos. And I'm saying that out of pure fandom and putting positivity out there in the world. That's all I'm gonna say. My blood
I
pressure's coming
respect it.
down.
I
Okay.
respect it.
All right, Ben. Watch yourself. Watch what you about to say.
I will say that here's a few things in the Broncos' favor. I'll start that way.
Yeah, let's do that.
Um,
Let's stay there.
I'll start there. Doesn't mean I'm going to end there. That's why I'm going to start. Sean Payton did go 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater when Drew Brees was hurt, whatever season that was. I know it was a long time ago. But Teddy Bridgewater, great human being, does a lot for the community, great human. As far as being an NFL quarterback, wasn't that good. He was okay. So I'm not even looking back who they played. It was like 5 or 6 years ago, but he did go 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater, and Sean Payton was the coach. Okay, so does that mean that he could win with Stidham one game or possibly 2 games? Absolutely. Now, do I think it's going to happen? There's a whole nother thing. But I will say that Peyton does have the experience of losing the starting quarterback and having to go to a backup. And without statistics, we can probably say NFL play only, forget college. Bridgewater, Stidham, there's probably not much of a difference. Like they're just both kind of blah quarterbacks in the NFL. Like I'm not talking about athleticism, stats, anything. Just put them side by side. I don't think there's a huge difference between Bridgewater and Stidham, NFL specifically. Now, what do I think is in order for the Broncos to win, I think one thing that we can probably all agree on is they need to win the turnover battle. It can't be a draw. It can't be the Patriots get 2 turnovers and Denver gets 1. Like, in order for Denver to win, they need to win the turnover battle because you need to overcome the fact that Bo Nix has his flaws 100%. But Bo Nix in the fourth quarter this year has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Game-winning drives, like I think 6 game-winning drives right behind Caleb Williams, who had 7. So in the fourth quarter, Bo Nix has been the guy. Other than that, he's ups and down and all that. But there's definitely a drop-off going from Nix to Stidham. Stidham is not Nix talent-wise, stats-wise, nothing like that. So for Denver to win the game, they absolutely have to win the turnover battle. And frankly, I would almost say their defense has to get a touchdown or a turnover, let's say within, the Patriots at their own 10-yard line. Like they need to get a turnover that either leads to a touchdown on that play or very shortly after. And talking about turnovers with CJ Stroud, right? Drake May, possibly the MVP. Does he deserve it? Absolutely. It's him or Stafford. That's not a conversation we're going to have. It's one of those two. They both deserve it. But his turnovers do seem to come at really bad times. And they almost always cost his team points, meaning they're about to score. They're on the other side of the 50. Maybe they're on the other team's 30 or 20. Or last week, even though it didn't cost them, he had a turnover inside his own 10-yard line. Texans didn't score because they didn't get it on 4th down. But his turnovers seem to happen at the wrong times. Now, I live in Massachusetts. I don't watch every Patriots game. But the games that I do see, his turnovers seem to happen at really bad times. And does Denver know this? Does New England know this? Absolutely. What is Denver going to be saying? Forget the sacks. Get the ball. Yeah, we love the sacks, but no, hit the ball. Take the chances. Hit the ball. They're not going to be going for just sacks. They're going to be trying to get turnovers any way that they can, as they should. New England knows this, but they do also have a quarterback who has fumbled, I believe, the second most in the entire league. So that's how Denver if there's a path for Denver to win, it is 100% by winning the turnover battle. And I would almost say either getting, like I said, a defensive touchdown or, a turnover with only 10 yards to go to score a touchdown. That all said, as far as what actually happens, I see Denver keeping it close, but I see the better team, by better team, who is
Broncos.
playing, healthy team, who's actually playing on the field on Sunday. I would say the better team roster wise is the Patriots. So I think they pull out a close win. I don't think they're going to win by 14 or anything like that, but I think the Patriots do win.
Sorry to hear that you're living in a false sense of delusion, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to come back to the show when I told you so. You guys are going to be, I told you so.
It's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm
Yeah.
saying Pats win 16-14. Like
Okay.
real low scoring.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. Anyway, let's get to this NFC Championship game. Enough of disrespecting the Broncos over here. This
Yeah.
one,
NFC is going to be a battle.
this one is going to be. This one is low key going to be a really, really, really good game. I'm looking forward to it. Who do we got, man? Who are we feeling? I think the Rams are going to pull this one out. I just kind of feel Matthew Stafford. This is his last year. I feel like if he definitely wins a championship, two-time Super Bowl champ, he's already a Hall of Famer in my opinion. I think we all can agree. But he gets another championship and probably going to win the MVP. He's definitely running off the sunset. I think he's motivated. I just think that the Rams are going to find a way to get this done. I just don't trust Sam Darnold, man.
Gary,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll go last here.
Okay, I think Sam Darnold's going to show us something on Sunday. I do believe that. Now, will that equate to a NFC Championship win? No. I think the Rams will probably pull this one out. I think this is going to be a game that goes into overtime. I think it's actually going to be a high-scoring game in that sense. I think that the Seattle, yes, they're going to be missing Charbonnet and all that, but like they have enough offensive firepower, enough weapons around Donald that he's going to have himself a good game. But I just think that this is a Rams team that is determined to get Stafford another ring before he rides off in the sunset. I think, we heard at the beginning of the season that we didn't even know if he was going to play because of his back and all that. I think that's going to be, as somebody with a bad back, I can tell you it doesn't go away like that. It doesn't go away easily. And scary enough at this point, like we're the same age too. So I'm like, I know for a fact, like I'm no NFL player, I'm no athlete like that, but I'm like, I know what a bad back feels like, and I know that what he's going through. And I can't imagine him signing up for another season of this.
Yeah.
So I think, truthfully, win, lose, or draw, that if they get to the Super Bowl, it would be Stafford's last game regardless. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go ahead and say 40-34 in overtime in favor of the Rams.
Ooh, wow, that's a lot of points. I like it. I like it. That is a lot of points. I like it. I'm going to say this. I'm not even going to use stats because I don't need stats to back this up. The coaches and the offensive coordinator, the head coach, they can all say they trust Sam Darnold. They can all say we believe in him, we trust him in full, all of that. All you got to do to disprove that is watch the first half of Rams Seattle about 6 weeks ago. They had him throw the ball like 2-yard passes, 3-yard passes, run, and everything was super conservative because he had just come off the 4-turnover game against the Rams like a month prior. They were like, Darnold, you're not throwing any contested balls at all. You're not throwing any deep passes, nothing. And that contributed, obviously, to them being double digits in that game. But you don't trust your quarterback. I don't care what you say in the media. Watch the game. We watched that game. The first half of that game was you telling America and anyone watching internationally, You don't trust your quarterback. And if the coaches in that team doesn't fully trust the quarterback, how am I supposed to trust the quarterback? And ultimately, no matter how great their defense is, which it is great, ultimately the quarterback needs to make throws either to get key third downs or fourth downs or game winning drives, whatever it is. They don't fully trust him, so I can't. And the Rams have a lot of talent on offense. They have arguably the best receiver in the game, Puka Nakua. They have a Hall of Fame receiver, Devontae Adams. They have three all above average tight ends. I wouldn't call any of them great, but they're all very good tight ends. Got three of them. Two really good running backs. Like the Rams have a lot of talent on offense, and Seattle's not going to. Their defense is going to be able to fully shut them down. So I got the Rams, and I do think Gary's point is valid that Stafford sees this as an opportunity. Like I can get one more ring, and I can ride off into the sunset with two championships. Stafford seizes the opportunity, and I think it is a close game, but I can't trust Sam Darnold if their own team doesn't trust Sam Darnold. I can't get there. And you're going to need your quarterback to make plays to win a game, to win a playoff game. If you're playing it's week 2 and you're playing the Jets or you're playing the Titans, you probably don't need your quarterback to make plays. But in the playoffs, in a championship game, deep in the playoffs, you're going to need your quarterback to make some plays. I just don't trust he can do it.
Sam Darnold's career is just one of those quintessential, like, very solid careers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like great. Like you're not going to think of Matthew Stafford as like an all-time great, but you're not going to consider, even if he doesn't win the championship, he already has a Super Bowl, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is not really. I think him getting the MVP, which seems likely going to happen, I think cements his legacy a little bit more than winning the second Super Bowl, maybe. I don't know, it kind of depends, but winning 2 Super Bowls and MVP, it's like a very, number 1 overall pick, was very solid for the Lions, even though they were trash, then comes to LA, is
Yep.
more than a game manager, but is not an elite quarterback, has a great arm, just a very just respectable type of career where you're like, okay, 2 Super Bowls, a regular season MVP, number 1 overall pick, pretty
Mm-hmm.
damn solid. And I
Yeah.
think that if for him to win this game and win another Super Bowl would be huge. And I ultimately think I don't know. I think they're gonna pull this one out. Honestly,
I lied. I said I wasn't going to give stats. I'll give one stats. I stayed away from stats all the way till 10-16, so I did good, guys. But Sam Darnold, the last 5 games, I'm talking about the end of regular season and the start of the playoffs. In his last 5 games, he has 4 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions, 4 fumbles, and 1 fumble lost. And that's what have you done for me lately? That's the last 5 games he's played this season. That ain't gonna be good enough against the Rams. It's not. Not with all that firepower they got on offense.
Right.
agreed. All right. Any other thoughts, guys, on any other? We got like 2 minutes here. Round robin, 30 seconds each. Any interesting football or topics that kind of stand out to you?
I would say I'm
Um,
interested to see what happens with McDermott. Like, does he take the year off or does he take? Because there's still some decent head coach opportunities. I would say probably off the top of my mind, the one that's most attractive right now would be the Ravens because you got Lamar Jackson. Um, do they want McDermott? Who knows? But just McDermott as a whole, interesting to see the next few weeks. Like, does he sign on for another coach or does he take a year off?
Okay.
um, no, just to McDermott, where these other coaches are going to land. I'm intrigued as to see who the next hot offensive or defensive coordinator is going to be to land one of these jobs and really kind of take that next step. I know Happy and Miami is. I think that was an interesting hire. I think that may pay dividends long term. But yeah, I'm interested to see if it's going to be one of these retread coaches that are going to help a team take the step forward, or if it's going to be a new face. I'm intrigued to see what 2026 has to offer in the NFL.
Okay. I want to see one. I think the Jets have to be kicking themselves in the head that there's all these other coaches that are available and they're sticking with Aaron Glenn. I'm sorry. There's no way that you're feeling good about Aaron Glenn after that trash of a year. But I
Mm.
think, too, what's going to happen with the Bills head coaching job, the Ravens, because those are both win now, 2 MVP quarterbacks still in their
Yep.
prime. And then what do the Steelers do? Right, because they've
Yeah.
been a model
Steelers.
franchise
Yep.
for so long, right? So you're thinking ideally they want to keep that trend going, so they want to pick someone that's going to be there for at least 10 years. So
What
that's
do
going to
they
be
do?
interesting.
Steelers. What do they do at QB and what do they do at coach?
We're talking about Rodgers potentially coming back if that opens
Yeah,
him.
no,
I'm like,
that's a
that
joke.
may come on now. 40,
But
come
Gary,
on now.
in our own division, there's the Giants are good with their coordinators, but Washington needs a new offensive coordinator.
Mhm.
Eagles need a new offensive coordinator. Dallas needs a new defensive coordinator. So
And
just
Mike
in our division, those are three things to kind of pay attention to as well.
and Mike
Definitely.
McDaniels is going to the Chargers. He just got hired as the offensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
I was telling Ben
I like
before
That,
you
that.
got on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
yeah,
Him and Harbaugh, I think
indeed.
that's a good
But
fit.
It's
folks,
a
it
good
has been
restoration.
yeah, but folks, it has been fun getting back to it. We took a break, but hell, we're what 2 weeks away from
Super
four
Bowl.
Super
years,
Bowl, yeah.
but 4 years, right? 4 years of doing this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022. It's been
Oh, it's
crazy.
2022. Okay, gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely have to do like a 4 year special of some sorts.
Because
But guys,
the first episode was the right after the Rams Bengals Super Bowl.
yeah,
That was the
yeah,
first episode,
Gotcha.
Rams
That's
that's
right.
Bengals.
crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. But guys, it's been fun. It has been real. It has been good. And always remember, Hail Von Miller. Take care,
He
guys.
can't help himself. He just
Peace.
can't. Can't help
Hail Von
himself.
Miller. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.